So in this video, we are gonna solve some questions of 2015 WBJE chemistry paper from question 61 to 80. Okay. So the first question says, in the Lasang's test for the detection of nitrogen in an organic compound, the appearance of blue colored compound is due to. Now, carbon and nitrogen which are present in the organic compound on fusion with sodium metal gives sodium cyanide, that is NaCN. When carbon and nitrogen they react, these are present in the organic compound. Now when they react, they form sodium cyanide. Now sodium cyanide is soluble in water. This is converted to sodium ferrocyanide when it is reacted with FeSO4, that is ferrous sulfate. That is, when I react this with FeSO4, I get Na4 FeCN whole 6 plus Na2SO4, that's another product. So this is my sodium ferrocyanide. Its name is sodium ferrocyanide. Okay. Now, when this sodium ferrocyanide is reacted, because when its reaction is taking place, some Fe3 plus ferric ions are also generated in the process, and the ferric ions, when they come in contact or they react with this ferrocyanide ion, they form the Prussian blue PPT. There's a blue PPT, which is your ferric ferrocyanide. Now, what the reaction is? The reaction is basically, now I'm taking the sodium ferrocyanide, Na4 FeCN whole 6, and I'm reacting it with the Fe3 plus ions that are generated in the process. It gives me Fe4 FeCN whole thrice. Now, this is my ferric ferrocyanide. So my correct option is 61C. Moving on. Now in this question, now this is one easy one. Now this is a Grignard. We know that RMgBr is my Grignard reagent. So it dissociates as R minus MgBr plus. And I have this compound, that is COET OET. Now comment down below what is the name of the compound. Okay. Now this R minus, I am reacting it in the carbon. This R minus hits the carbon atom and one of the OET thus gets out. So I am left with HCOET, and there is another OET over here and my R. Now what happens, that this is happening in my ether medium. Now what happens is I am giving H3O plus. Now this H3O plus, what it does is it just replaces OAT with OH. OAT is a good leaving group, so it converts OAT into OH. So now I get this one. Now this is not a very stable compound, so what it does is it converts it itself into, just takes out hydrogen, one hydrogen here and I have two OH over here. It just leaves as water. So what we get is, that is RCHO. I get my product as RCHO, that is my aldehyde, which is my option A. Okay. Now this question is a very straightforward question from your NCRT. Now that is the beauty of that paper, that there are many questions which you can do directly if you just know the answer and just read the NCRT. Now the answer is very simple. I need to say the flame colors. For calcium, we know it is brick red. In the Bunsen burner, calcium burns as brick red, in the brick red color. For strontium, it is crimson color. And for barium, it is my apple green color. So my correct option is A, P. A, P are over A and D. B is my R, C, Q. So that is my option A. Okay. Now this is a metallurgy question. So in this, basically, it is from which part that when the gold ore is this from the gold ore we just extract the pure gold. So that's the reactions, and it is in the NCRT also. So in the roasting means you're heating it in the presence of oxygen, and I am also getting Cn minus H2O O2. I get OH minus as one of the products, and another product is AuCN whole twice minus. Then I am giving it zinc. Displacement reactions takes place, and from ZnCN whole 4 2 minus, and my gold is come out in a pure form. So this is my X product, this is my Y product. So AuCN whole twice this one, and ZnCN whole 2. So my option A. Okay. Now the atomic number of Ce is 58. So we need to find the correct electronic configuration of Ce3 plus. Now the electronic configuration of Ce is Xe 4f1 5d1 6s2. Now how I know Xe? Because it is 58 and your atomic number of xenon is 56. Okay, 54. It's not 56, it's 54. It's 54. Okay. So from there, I am very sure that these will not be the answers. My B option is not the answer. My D option is not the answer. I am left with these two. And so as it is 54, and then the correct answer is this one. So now if I just do Ce3 plus, it gives me Xe. Now 3 electrons will be removed. I am left with 4f1. So here to here one they are removed. So I am left with Ce3 plus is Xe 4f1. Okay. Acha. This is a solid state question. It says that suppose the mass of a single Ag atom is A. My mass of the single atom is given. Silver metal crystallizes in FCC lattice with unit cell edge length is given. Now I need to find the density in terms of A and M. So we know that we know density formula, but we don't want in that form. We want in this A and M form. So in the FCC lattice, we know that there are six faces, and each face has one atom. So six face centered atoms. So each of them has a contribution of half, and there are eight atoms at the eight corners. Each of which contribution is 1 by 8. So my total number of atoms for FCC is 4. Now, I am given, so the mass of the atoms, of all the 4 atoms, is simply 4m. Now, basically, it's a unit cell. So, unit cell is just a cube, you can consider it. And when the length of a cube is given, we know that the volume of the unit cell or the volume of the cube, that becomes a cube, because I know the edge length. Now density is simply what we know as mass by volume. So mass is 4m, volume is a cube. So my answer here is 66 4m by a cube. That is answer A. Okay. Now the next question. So in this question, it is given that you are given an equation 2SO2 plus O2 gives 2SO3 at a temperature. My del G naught value is given. I need to find the equilibrium constant, that is my K value, when R is my gas constant. Okay. So if I just write the equation, it is 2SO2 plus O2 gives 2SO3. And I am given my del G naught is minus 690.9 R. T is given to be 300 Kelvin. And I know the formula del G naught is equal to minus RT ln K, or K equivalent, whatever you say. So I just putting the values. So it turns out to be minus R into 300 into ln of K equivalent. So it's just resizing it over. So ln K equivalent comes out to be 690.9 by 300. And if you just do the calculation, it turns out to be 2.303. Now, it is given in the ln form, And if I just convert it into the log form, I just need to multiply it with 2.303, and just it becomes log of k equivalent is equal to 2.303. So I am left with log of k equivalent to be 1 or k equivalent to be 10. Now I need to know the unit as well. So in the equilibrium chapter, we have also known that it has a relationship with the pressure constant, and it is if I just consider the unit, it is atm to the power del ng. Now what is my del ng? Del ng is the number of gaseous moles of the products minus number of gaseous moles of the reactant. So for here it is 2, and number of gaseous moles in the reactants is 2 plus 1 3, so I get minus 1. So my unit turns out to be atm inverse. So my final answer is, for value of k is 10 atm inverse. So that's my answer. It is option A. So in WBJ, your physics and chemistry questions, you have to do solve that in 2 hours. So I will first suggest you to do the chemistry part first, because they are very straightforward question, as you can see, and you can just answer it in very short time. So you will just in a half an hour you can just complete with an NCRT paper. Okay. And now in this question, I am given at a particular temperature, the ratio of equivalent conductance to specific conductance of 0.01 N NaCl solution is. So I know my equivalent conductance I'm taking as del M is K into 1000 by C, where C is the concentration and K is my specific conductance. And now I am just finding out the ratio. It is 1000 by C, which is 1000 by 0.01, and it is 10 to the power 5. If I just write the unit, it comes out to be this. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just finding out this unit as well. So the unit of K is sigma ohm inverse or sigma inverse, that is cm square equivalent inverse, and for K is sigma inverse and cm inverse. So if you just calculate it, you find it cm cube equivalent inverse. So your answer is 10 to the power 5 cm cube, because you're just finding out the ratio, and for us at a particular temperature for an equivalent, so it's 10 to the power 5 cm cube. For it is for per equivalent. So yeah, you can take the 10 to the power cm cube to be your answer. Now in this question, it is again an easy one. If you know the formula, you can solve it, and the units are already known to you. Surface tension. Surface tension is your work done, or the work done you have done divided by area. So work done unit is my joules, area is meter square. So I'm just converting joules into my SI units, that is kg m square s minus 2 by m square. So that gives me kg s minus 2 as the unit for surface tension. Now for viscosity, which is my eta. If my force is eta A dV by dx, viscous force, and if I just arrange it, I get F by A dV by dx. Now I'm just putting the units. For force, I know it's Newton, area is meter square, dV is that velocity, the change in velocity, velocity gradient. So ms inverse by dx, which is m. So that turns out to be n m minus 2 s. Now I am just replacing the unit of Newton to the its SI units. It is kg m s minus 2 into s, and this m minus 2. So my final unit is kg m inverse s inverse. So that's the answer. So I get my answer to be which one? KGS inverse is AGNZ minus 2. This one and this. Now there's a shortcut. If you can do that in the exam is good, which is, see in these options, when I have just found the unit of surface tension to be kgs minus 2. So in the options, there is nothing apart from there is only this one option where you are getting kgs minus 2. In none of the options there is kgs minus 2. So if you can be a bit smarter here, you don't need to solve this part. You have got this one, mark the option, move ahead, because the exam is of accuracy and speed. Okay, so that you know, but still it's just a remind. Okay, now this is a question where I need to find the ratio of volumes of CH3COOH is concentration is given to CH3COONA concentration given. So this is my acid, this is my salt, and is required to prepare a buffer solution of PA sum 5.74. My pK value of the acid is 4.74. Okay, so I need to find the ratio of volume. So let the acid volume, that is volume occupied by the acid, I am taking to be x liters, and let the salt volume occupied by salt is y liters. Now I know the formula, that is pH is equal to pKa plus log of concentration of salt by acid. I know the formula. So what I'm doing is, like, so log of my salt is CH3COONA by acid is CH3COOH. This turns out to be pH is 5.74 minus pKa is 4.74. That turns out to be, that turns out to be 1. Yeah, it turns out to be 1. So if I just taking the log on both sides, I get CH3COONA divided, sorry, CH3COONA divided by CH3COOH. Now I'm just taking the concentrations over here. I get it to be as 1/10. Okay. Now what I'm doing is, I'm just, now I know my molarity is my number of moles by volume. So my number of moles for any species is molarity into volume. So number of moles for CH3COONA is 0.1, is 0.1 x, and number of moles for CH3COOH is 0.1 y. So I'm just finding out the ratio of the volume. Now, how will I do that? It is N by V. So N is 0.1 x by total volume is x plus y, by 0.1 y by total volume is x plus y. That is 1 by 10. So if I just do the simplifications, I get it as x by y is equal to 1 by 10. Means this is 1 is to 10. Ratio is 1 is to 10. Okay. Now the next question is 71. For the equation x2 y4 gives 2x2 at a temperature of 300 Kelvin, the values of del U and del S are given. I need to find the value of del G. So x2 y4 liters is gives me if 2x y2 G. Okay, and my del Ng is, now del Ng is because of the number of moles of in the gaseous part, so it's 2 over here, minus there is no gaseous reactors over here, so it's 2. Now del H is equal to del U plus del Ng RT. Putting the value, del U is 2, del U is my 2 plus del Ng 2, R is Now I know R is to be 2 calories per whatever the unit. So it is in the calorie unit. So 2 into 300. Now I need to convert into kilocalories because this is in kilocalories. So divided by 1000. So I get the value as 3.2 in the kilocalories. Okay. Now del G is equal to del H minus T del S. So my del H is in kilocalories, so it's 3.2 into 10 to the power 3 minus 300. S is in calories, so it's 20. So what I get is to be as minus 2800 calories. Answer is to be C. Okay. Now this question 72. In 72, I need to find the EMF. So this is a simple Nernst equation. Its E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 0.0591 by N log of product. In the product side, I have Ag plus square by reactance Zn2 plus. Okay. Now, I know the value of E naught cell is 1.562 minus 0.0591 by the number of electron transfer over here is going to be 2. Okay. Because see, Ag, when it just releases one electron, it gives me He plus. And for Zn2 plus, when it accepts two electrons, it gives me Zn. So if I just balance this, so that's the equation. And the final equation is 2Ag plus Zn2 plus gives 2Ag plus Zn. Now these are in the solid state, Ag, Zn, then the solid state, and these are in your other state, which is also given over here. This we are in the solid state. So we don't take the solid state concentration. We know that the solid state concentration is taken to be as 1. So log of Ag plus the coefficient is square because it's 2 over here. So coefficient will be square. Whatever the coefficient is, you just give it as the power. So log of 0.1 square by Zn2 plus is 0.1. So if you do the calculation, it turns out to be minus 1562 plus 0.0591 by 2, that turns out to be minus 1.532 volts. So it's this one. Okay. Now the next question is 73, where it is said addition of sodium thiosulfate solution to a solution of silver nitrate gives X as a white precipitate insoluble in water but soluble in excess thiosulfate to give Y. On boiling in water, Y gives Z. Now we need to find X, Y, Z respectively. So what I'm just interpreting whatever is written. It is given Na2S2O3, that is sodium thiosulfate, which when it is given in the solution of silver nitrate, AgNO3, that gives me something as X, which is I get Ag2S2O3. Now this is a white precipitate, silver, so it's a white precipitate and it is insoluble in water. Now what they're doing is this is soluble in excess thiosulfate. So yeah, it is soluble in when I give it in excess thiosulfate, so it's soluble to give a Y. So I'm giving excess thiosulfate, that is Na2S2O3. I am getting Na3AgS2O3 whole twice. So that's what I'm getting. Now it is said it is the Y product. Now on boiling in water, now I'm just heating it in water and I'm boiling it, I get Z. Now when I boil it, what happens is when I'm just boiling it, I am left with He2S. Now soluble part is boiled with water and your precipitate part is what you get, that is your Ag2S. You get Ag2S as your precipitate part. And see the why you get Ag2S, I will also say that. Now your X product is this one. This is your X, this is your Y, and this is your Z. So your answer turns out to be A. Now see, you might have the question that why it is Ag2S and not AgS? Because the oxidation state or the charge over here is 2 plus, and for here it is for a single plus, and here it is minus 2 minus the Ag plus, and it is S2O3 2 minus. So here also its oxidation will be, or the charge which it will carry is Ag plus, and it will be 2 minus. So it is Ag plus and S2 minus. So that's how you get Ag2S and not Ags, because the oxidation state of Ag is plus 1 over here. Okay. Now, this question is 74. Roasted copper pyrite is CuFeS2 on smelting with sand FeSiO3. The sand is FeSiO3 and copper's pyrite is CuFeS2. What it produces, we need to find out. So if I just write the equation, it is CuFeS2 plus O2, because it is roasted, so it's in presence of oxygen, gives me Cu2S and 2Fes plus SO2. Okay. Now what it does, it is melting with sand. So what it I'm doing it, oxygen is in high amount, so it is 2Fes plus 3O2 gives me 2FeO plus 2SO2. Now FeO plus SiO2 gives me FeSiO3. Okay, so the sand part is this one, and your fusible, because what is fusible slag? Fusible slag means basically I am adding something so that I can remove it as a impurity part, which is soluble, and if I add something, it will just come out as an impurity. So this is my fusible slag, that is FeSiO3, and my matte over here is Cu2S. My matte over here is Cu2S. So my option is 74A. Okay. So in this question, we need to find the total number of aromatic species which is generated in these processes. So here, these are all some NCRT level questions or just board level. You don't need to show or do the all the reactions. You just know, just write the product. You'll be sorted. So for the first one, it is chlorine is over here and SbCl5, I'm adding SbCl5. So what SbCl5 will do, it will just take HCl with it to convert itself to be SbCl6 minus and giving a plus sign over here. It will just be like this one, plus SbCl, just taking one, is LbCl6 minus. Now just see, in order to be aromatic, you need to be a planar species. You need to have 4n plus 2 pi electrons. So see over here, it has 2 pi, 2 pi electrons. It has 2 pi electrons. So that means it satisfies the 4n plus 2 and is planar as well. So this is an aromatic. So this is my aromatic species. For the second part, when I just add sodium metal in THA, what sodium will does is, sodium will, there is a hydrogen over here, it will take the hydrogen to forms NaH, leaving it to be as of this product. So this is also has 6 pi electrons, and this is also aromatic because it satisfies the 4n pi rule and it is planar. So I am getting option 2 as aromatic. For the next one, it is a 7-member ring. It is a 7-member ring with 1, 2, 3. So it's over here, 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 and bromine, hydrogen. So I have hydrogen and bromine, and water is added to it. Now what will it do? Again, your bromine will take place. Bromine will get out from here, and you will get a positive sign over here. Rubin will form HBr from here. So, or it can remain as a normal species as well. So you will get a positive sign over here. It will make it a planar one, and it has 6 pi electrons. So it is also aromatic. Now, up till now, we have found out 3 to be aromatic. So this is not my option, this is not my option. So either it is 3 or it is 4. Now the last one. That is this one. NH2 and its HNO2, it will form N2 plus Cl minus, it will form, and this N2 plus Cl minus will just get out, giving it to us plus sign over here. I will get a positive sign. Now this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 pi electrons. So when some species has 4 pi electrons, it is non-aromatic because it does not satisfy the two rules. So what I get is my, this one is as a no, as a non aromatic species. So number of aromatic species I'm getting is 1, 2, 3. So my answer over here is 3. Okay. Now the 76 is just a reading question. To increase the rate constant of any chemical reaction with increasing temperature is or are due to the facts that, so when you increase the temperature, what happens? The number of collisions is a chemical reaction, so the number of collisions will increase. With the increase in temperature, the speed will increase, so the number of collision will increase. So the number of collisions among the reactant molecules increases with increasing temperature. Okay. The activation energy of the reactants decrease with temperature? No, it does not. The activation energy does not decrease. The concentration of the reactant molecules increase with increasing temperature? No, the concentration does not never increase with increasing temperature. The number of reactant molecules acquiring the activation energy increases with increasing temperature. Yes. So when you increase the temperature, as it has a higher chance of its speed has increased, so the number of collision is increasing. So a more number of reactive species will acquire the activation energy. So the answer is it is a multi-correct. So your answer is A and D as the correct option. Now, when you do this type of question, just be very sure whether they want to know which are the correct options or whether they want to know which are the incorrect options. So just keep that in mind. You might know the answer, but the question has said to mark the incorrect one, and you have marked the correct one, and just you will just get a negative for no reason. Okay. Now, in this question, it is I need to say which of the following compounds, there may be more than one, that has exhibited optical isomerism. Now, in order to show optical isomerism, the one rule which has to be followed is there should not be any plane of symmetry. There should not be any plane of symmetry in that compound. Now, what I do in this question is I am in most of the cases, not always, your trans trans product or the trans species has a plane of symmetry. So I will just start with this one because there are chances that the trans has a plane of symmetry. Now CrO, so I am giving Cl as a trans and OX2. So OX over here and OX over here. So it's clearly seen that it is having a plane of symmetry. So this will not exhibit optical isomerism. Okay. Now, if I do the cis one, if I just do the cis one, what I get is I'm taking Cl and OX, OX. So there is no plane of symmetry over here. In no way can you just cut it and get the plane of symmetry. You can take any other form as well. This product must be cis. So this will exhibit optical isomerism. Number B is COEN all thrice, cobalt. So COEN whole thrice. So, okay, this has a particular way in which it is done. COEN whole twice. Okay, let me just do it in the normal form. En, En, En. Now, can you just divide it in any way so that you can get a plane of symmetry? No. There are in three, this and a 60 degree. If I just see in this way, it's just a 60 degree, 60 degree, 60 degree. So you cannot get a plane of symmetry over here as well. So this will also show optical isomerism. Now just keep that in mind. This product, whenever you will see, it's a very common product that comes in a very common organic product or organic compound which comes in your exams, whether it is a WBJ mains advanced. This is a very common and it always is optically active, or it shows optical isomerism. So whenever you will see this product, just don't draw the structure, just mark it. So up till now we have got two answers, A and B, and the last one is COOXEN. That is COOXEN whole twice 2 plus whole twice plus. Again I will do the same, and it is in flow form. Okay, so if I just do this in this way also, En, and if Ox is in, okay, so this won't be O, and I'm checking Ox over here and En to be here. There is no plane of symmetry, no plane of symmetry over here as well. You cannot cut it. So this is also optically active. So your answer, final answer is A, B, and D, which are optically active compounds. Okay. So up till now, in a very short time, we have already done from 61 to 77. Now coming to question number 78. Now again 78 is just a reading question. Just see, there is no calculation required. Ionization potential values of noble gases decrease down the group with increase in atomic size. Yeah. Xenon forms binary fluorides XeF2, it is talking about, by the direct reaction of elements. Yeah, when it when the xenon plus F2 2F for F2, you get XeF2 under some conditions. And if identify the correct statements given below. So I need to find the correct statements. Only the heavier noble gases form such compounds. Yes, because see, when this heavier noble gas, that means the atomic size is more. So as its ionization potential is less, so it's easy for the fluorides or this such compounds to react with it to form the such compounds. So only the heavier noble gas can form such compounds. True. It happens because the noble gases has higher ionization potential. No, as we go down the group, the ionization enthalpy is also decreases, as said. So it is not for the higher ionization enthalpies. It happens because the compounds are formed with electronegative ligands. Yes, as F minus is electronegative ligand, so it's easier. It happens because the compounds, yeah, as it is F minus is electronegative ligand, so it attacks Zn and forms ZnF2. Octet of electrons provide the stable arrangements. No, octet of electrons, no, because xenon is already a noble gas which is in the octet state. It was in octet state, so it's not going back to any stable arrangement. So octet is not the reason why they do so. So this is not the answer. So my correct option is A and C. Achha. So this is a long chain of, we need to produce this product by following reactions. Now just look at here. This is what Friedel-Crafts reaction. So what happens in Friedel-Crafts is 1, 2, 3, 4. So is this one happens 1, 2, 3, 4. But after this is done, when you just nitration takes place, this is not the product that you will get. No, the direct nitration cannot happen. So this is not my answer. For the second part, they are doing acylation. This is Friedel-Crafts alkylation. Now this is Friedel-Crafts acylation. Now if I do the acylation, I get three, three and four. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I get my double bond over here. So this is my physical acceleration which I get from the first product. Then what are they doing? They are just giving ZnHgHCl heat. So it is reducing the product. So this OH, it just vanishes after reduction, and you get it as this form. Now when you give HNO3 and H2SO4, you will get, because see in this product HCl is also there, so now the reaction is possible and you will get NO2. In this case you will not get NO2 in the para, you may get it in the ortho meta position, no, but not in the para. Most probably in the meta position you are going to get the NO, not in the para. So if you have to get in the para, you just need to do this process. So as I've got the answer, I am not going any further, but at home you will do this and let me know what are the products that you have got, or just do that at home and see what are the products that you have got and why are these not the answers. Okay, now the last question, it is, within the list shown below, the correct pair of structures of alanine in pH ranges from 2 to 4 and 9 to 11. So in pH 2 to 4 we need to find what will be the structure of alanine, and in pH 9 to 11 we need to find what is the structure of alanine. So isoelectric point of alanine, it is 6.1. Just check it, it is 6.1. Now at pH below this point, below this isoelectric point, it has, because see at pH, as the pH is reducing, so it's in a acidic form. So when it is acidic, it will have a tendency to take hydrogen from the react with the hydrogen from the base. So it will have NH3 positive, and at pH above isoelectric point, it has a tendency to become COO minus, because COH is an acid and the medium will become a base. So from the acid the hydrogen will be taken and it will just go to the base, because the medium is basic and it will take hydrogen from the acidic part. So for option 1, that is for 2 to 4 pH, when the medium is acidic, and so when the medium is acidic, from the acidic medium hydrogen will react with the base to form NH3 plus. Your alanine will look like CH3 positive. And for pH 9 to 11, your alanine will look like NH2 CHCO minus CH. Now I will just repeat myself once again. Why is this happening? In case you just don't get it. See, when your pH is in 2 to 4, in this state, if I just go in this page, when your pH is in 2 to 4 range, that is your medium is acidic. When your medium is acidic, what will it do? Even it has a base. So alanine has a base. Alanine has a base. So the acidic medium, it has hydrogen. So acidic medium hydrogen will react with this base, NH2 base, to form NH3 plus. And when the pH is 9 to 11, that is my medium. My medium is basic. When my medium is basic, that is alanine, which has a acid as well. So this hydrogen, which is as an acid, of the hydrogen as the hydrogen which is present in acid, what will it do? It will just leave that COH part and just go in the basic medium, because the medium is basic. So you will get CO minus as a species. So that's what it is happening. So your correct answer is NH3 plus CHCH2 is this one, and CO this one. So answer is 1 and 2, option A. So we have solved questions of the chemistry part. We have solved the questions of the chemistry of 2015 WBJ from 61 to 80. So I guess you don't have any doubt in these questions, and best of luck for your exam. We will see you in the next video. Thank you.